We're back on the hype. The hype man.
Oh yeah, we're back for another episode.
Episode 3, if you count just the boys episodes, because we're looking at series 3.
Oh, that's true. Actually, I've got a question, mate. Have we, is this like a new season? Have we, declared this as a new season on the podcast?
I'm keeping it season 5 because when we started, we kept to the phases. So until phase 5 finishes, this is all phase 5, my friend.
Ah, fair play.
So
that makes more sense.
It'll be easier that way because you can't label a well, this is getting into admin, but just so you listeners at home know, who does all the work, I can't label. Joking, right. That's a big lie. I don't label the phase. I can't label the phase a name, so I couldn't go Marvel Phase 5. It's just Phase 5.
Yeah, well, that works. Anyway, mate, how are you, my dear friend Boris?
All right, mate.
I just realised how fucking mundane that was. Boring admin there. My name's Forrest, blah, blah, blah. I've decided not to change the seasons, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, how are you?
I'm good. You know what? I'm overjoyed because we're getting some nice comments on our Spotify episodes. So, in case you didn't know, if you go on a specific episode, you can actually write a little comment. And I always publicise the comment so everyone can see it. Someone expressed that they had never seen The Boys, but thoroughly enjoyed the episode.
Oh.
Nice
thank you very much. Who's that comment by? Do they have a name?
They do have a name. Thanks for doing this on the spot, Matt. So
sorry, mate.
Again, you're going to mug me off because I'm going to have to do.
We'll just wait in silence. No, wait in silence. This is how committed we are to this podcast. This is how we know that you're staying with us, dear listener. We're just going to wait in silence in this beginning of the podcast.
It is Rose C. I've seen what they've done there. Rose C-double-E, which is Rosie.
Oh, I like it. I love it.
Very clever. Unless their name is actually Rose C, in which case, genius parents. Rose said, great episode. To be honest, never watched The Boys, but my hubby loves the show.
Brilliant. Make sure when you go and see the Deadpool 3, you go to Rosie. Rosie. Oh! Stop me with the rhymes, everyone. Oh!
And it was at that moment where Forrest and Matt lost their only listener. Please don't. Please, drop us a message. We always read them. We always publicise them. We've had a couple of funky emails, hopefully, which, early days. But yeah, it's all getting exciting on the pod, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, I mean, so you talking about all the wonderful stuff that you're doing in terms of uploading and, on the episodes and stuff. In terms of the legwork that I do in this podcast, I like to do the reels and the old Instagram. So we get pretty good. I say we get some comments. It's not filling with comments, but TikTok's pretty good. In all fair, we do pretty well on TikTok. But anyway, if you're not following us on either TikTok or Instagram, please do. Don't Be a Hero podcast. We're on there. We put reels up, highlights from this episode, also visual highlights as well. Visualize as well. So do make sure you do get on there, get on it, because we're talking all things The Boys. We've done season 1, we've done season 2, and now we're at season 3.
Credits rolled, we all celebrated, here we are. We've returned to talk about The Boys series 3, which I'm going to start off by saying. The words soup brothel is what we got in this series.
Soup brothel.
It's a soapy brothel.
It's a soup of frothy, if you get what I mean.
It is. It was tits and penises aflow.
It's it's
mad.
like the show already created the line, right? In terms of what you could show from a superhero perspective, right? It already made that line in terms of gore, explicitity, and then boom, season 3 happened, Hero-gasm happened, and pow, we're going to break that line. We're going to then create a new one, which is exactly what, actually, in all honesty, if we're going straight into overview thoughts of season 3, that's exactly what it does. It absolutely smashes the ceiling. I think this is, in terms of story richness, in terms of visuals, in terms of even funny moments, it absolutely delivers, and it really feeds off of the last successful 2 seasons. And mate, this is my favourite season so far. Gosh, I'm excited for next week. Season 4 is coming later this week. Actually, it drops on the 13th. Hello, can't wait. What are your overall thoughts?
I thought I had a great time. I had a lovely time. It was fantastic. It's about as many adjectives as I could possibly squeeze.
That is like I've gone to a family do. I've sat down with a cup of tea, and I've asked my uncle, you know what? How was that holiday you went to in Devon last week? Oh yeah, no, it was a good time, lovely time. Went for a walk, like.
It was it was a trip to where at Cornwall.
What?
Wherever you said.
I said Devon.
Devon. It was a lovely trip. No, it was great. It was brilliant. I think my mind is saying that there was dippy moments for me. There were slight dips, Matt. There was slight dips. Again, not so keen on the deep. I've got to be honest. I'm not deep for the deep.
Just because he's attracted to fish, and you don't see it. All right.
I know.
Love is love, Forrest.
It is. It's a thoroughly enjoyable series. I think on retrospect now that we're putting all the series together, I mean, this is like an end conclusive thought, but you've got me there quickly, I think series 1 for me still kind of captures all energy. But the series was great, and we're going to talk about why. And one of those reasons, Matt, I think. Have you given your general thoughts?
Yeah, just effectively, it kind of like smashes through the ceiling. That's basically what I said. I think it's the best season. Lots more character development. In terms of each relationships that we see. We see a lot more with our heroes and our antagonists as well. In terms of their development, and mate, yeah. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I'd watch this season again and again. I'd like have it in the background. Do you know what I mean? Is that again?
Yeah. All right.
Without the kids, obviously.
Is that good?
That's the other thing, right? In terms of my tactics, right?
Oh yeah.
In terms of my tactics of watching this season. I mean, you've been, mate. I just got to say as well. Just before we press record, you've just been like, mate, I'm already on episode 3 of Gen V. Mate, you're smashing through this. You've absolutely smashed through this. By the way, do you know what I had to do?
Oh, what's that?
Well, because of the nature of the show, I can't exactly, during the day, watch it on my TV. It's not exactly appropriate, right, peeps? Make sure you're all, when you're watching stuff like this, with your own discretion, especially if you've got young ones in the house, right? Little PSA for you. But so I had to watch it through my phone. I had to have it with earphones in. There were so many times when the kids were asking something of me. I've just got nothing but shouting, goring punches and hero-gasm sounds.
Wow.
While I'm like literally looking at it like, close to my face as possible, going, yeah, no. And there was moments where I like, we watch it. Dad was like, no, you can't.
No, it's a huge cock on the screen.
It was a minefield. I had to really be tactical. Literally, I've only just finished watching it, like literally 2 seconds before pressing record.
Yeah, and he's not exaggerating, ladies and gents. He came in to record, and I had to pause an extra 10 minutes after waiting 15 minutes for his arrival. I had to wait another 10 minutes whilst he finished the episode. But I'm childless. It's far easier for me to watch it. I appreciate that. I appreciate my what's that? Not prestige. It's definitely not prestige. What you call it? What you call your?
What?
You know when like you say a
Offspring?
lot about rich people have to kind of or white males have.
Privilege.
What's privilege? That's the word. Thank you, my friend. So childless privilege. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yes, got you. But first things first.
Right.
You teased me like you've never teased me before, Matt.
I love it too. You know me.
When you came to the two words, do you know what two words I'm about to say for this series?
I'm going to whisper it.
Soldier Boy. Now, I am instantly going to say something that I don't know will make you laugh, but certain listeners will find this funny. For weeks and weeks, potentially a year now, because you've told me to watch The Boys, and any time you have mentioned Soldier Boy, I thought the person who sung Soldier Boy, or no, there is an artist called Soldier Boy. Yes. I thought that was who I was waiting to see. So I thought Soldier Boy had turned actor and was in this show.
Wait.
And now I realise, or quite quickly I realise in this series, that it's a soldier, as in goes to war. Not the singer, Soldier Boy. So
you mean
I mean,
the American rapper and record producer Soldier Boy.
That's the one. I thought, wow, this is like a little, which kind of would work for this. Like him just randomly showing up and he's a superhero would be as batshit crazy as this program, would lend itself to.
So you're talking about Soldier Boy. So Soldier Boy off in it. Oh, watch me crank it. Watch me roll. Watch me crank that Soldier Boy. Then Superman that. Oh, I mean, talk about superheroes.
We've just found our new feature.
Now watch you crank that Soldier Boy. That guy. You talking about that same guy?
Yeah, that guy. Yep.
Yeah.
Whoa, crank that.
Whoa. Soldier Boy up in that. Whoa, watch me lean in, watch me rock. Superman that. Oh, yeah, watch me crack that RoboCop. Super fresh. Now watch me jucking all of those haters, man. When I do that Soldier Boy, I lean to the left there, crank the left thing. Then, yeah, there you go.
That one. Yeah, that one there.
That one. That guy.
Apparently not. Apparently not. Could not be further away from Soldier Boy. Is actual Soldier Boy. Literally, yeah. So we get Soldier Boy in this series. Quality character, a lot of backstory there. He's being treated like an awful, like a creature by the Russians. He's been worked on. Mental.
I mean,
we get
What do you? How do we? Yeah, no, fuck it. I mean, and it's the other thing, dear listener. If this is the first time you're coming into a Boys episode review from the old Don't Be a Hero podcast, we're talking about the season as a whole. We're not going to go episode by episode, so I'm just going to crank in straight in with a little question for you. What do you think about that first scene when we are introduced with Soldier Boy from obviously? So in the episode, I think it might be episode 4 or 5. Don't quote me on that, but we are in Russia. We also go to Russia as well. We've got this underground base. It gives me very Stranger Things season 4 vibes when they go to Russia.
Good show.
But do you know what I mean? Like, it's quite reminiscent of it in terms of who's there, in terms of the lockdown kind of situation. But there's this ominous kind of chamber. And they don't really notice it at first, and then they kind of see that there's that gerbil that's being gerbil, thing, guinea pig, that super guinea pig, which is, by the way, don't see of past that moment when it takes that guy out with its eye.
Yeah.
It eats through that guy's eye. Then the thing's gone. Does it get shot? Does it get killed? I don't think it does. I think it gets away.
Apparently, it's a big feature for series 4.
Is it?
No.
You're bugging. You winded me up, you silly sod.
Gerbil's big one. The big gerbil coming in, looking after the 7.
If only it spoke and it was proper Russian.
Oh, I'd love
Hello,
that.
I am the gerbil. I'm going to take your face off now. No.
Yeah, that'd be quality. So, yeah, we get Soldier Boy. We get Soldier Boy's all right. So you told me, what do I think of Soldier Boy's like at first scenes? I'm gonna say underwhelming.
Yeah.
To say the least, because he comes out
after I hyped it up.
Yeah, because he comes out, he goes, oh, bloody angry, and then he removes Kimiko's superpowers basically, and then fucks off.
Yeah,
and that's it. And then for that, like, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about Soldier Boy because I think the character is great, but I think. The personality of Soldier Boy isn't quite up there for me. If you think, like, we had Stormfront in Series 2, we've got Homelander on Series 1, if you really take Homelander's arc as the main arc, right? And I just feel like Homelander's personality is so, like, layered, strong, like, you know, really, really strong personality there. You've got, and then Stormfront, like, you knew who Stormfront was. She was, like, that was that. Whereas Soldier Boy just it feels to me that he's just a miserable teenager. And it's like, I wanted, like, this is a guy that they keep going on about. Like, where's the fucking, like, and I know, you know, we see glimpses back to, like, in the 1900s, we see glimpses of him when he was with the original kind of, what would be the Seven, right? The original Supes of the time. And we see a little bit more personality, but I think, I don't know, like, I expected someone with a little bit more kind of oomph about them, but especially if they go, because I expected someone to go at Homelander in a way that made, like, we potentially had someone who was a little bit more daring outside of the superpowers. So, but Soldier Boy is, but that's because his superpowers are so strong, right? But the personality didn't match that, I suppose, is what my argument is.
So you didn't like his entrance?
No. Long story short, no, I didn't.
I agree with you. I agree with you, man. Actually, as much as I was hyping it up, when it actually came to it, I went, oh. In my head, I had, for some reason, I thought he, like, smashed through it. Do you know what I mean? I thought he, like, smashed through the chamber and, like, terminated himself out. You know how Terminator arrives at the beginning, you know, his first entrance, he does that, like, fist down and he stands out. It's like, I thought it was way more like that, and it just wasn't. And also there was this is the other thing. There was a terrible fake beard on him. Like, it was just a ridiculously long beard, and it was just like, that's really, really fake. They should have just not done that in the first place. Should have just left him as a monster, to be fair. But, like, yeah, it was just a bit and then all of a sudden his character, you don't really get to see his character develop that much, and he doesn't give much, which I think, actually, in all honesty, I think they're kind of saving that for season 4. I'm hoping they are anyway. I'm hoping we're going to get more of character development from Soldier Boy. But ultimately, I think the performance, I don't know, it's not bad. It's not a bad performance. I think, is the casting right? Maybe let's ask ourselves that. Is the casting right? Is Jason Eccles actually the best person to play this role?
It should have been Soldier Boy.
Play Batman. He's been tipped to always play Batman, which is, I can kind of get, because he definitely looks like a Bruce Wayne. But sorry, I butted him.
No, I just did a joke, to be fair, and it didn't land. So I went, it should have been it should have been Soldier Boy. Because this guy is in Supernatural, isn't he? This guy's well known for a super, and again, something I've never seen, but I know people go fucking wild about him, and this is
It's a bit of a name casting.
Exactly. Me and Matt, both actors, like we know. Problem you'll find is an actor will do one job and they'll be like, fucking hell, they're amazing, and then they'll get a whole host of other big gigs, and it never quite lives up to the first job they did, because essentially they were just like that first character they did was basically the actor. Right, they're just playing themselves, a heightened version of themselves. So what happens? They get drafted into all of these other characters that have either got slightly more personality or different to the person they are. Right, and then the actor can never live up to that first job. So, and I think that this is a victim of that. And I would have preferred, I just would have preferred someone a lot more like scatty. You've got Homelander's so like serious and like, I am Superman, I am number one. Whereas hello, my light just, did you see that? Oh, mate. The light just fucking hell, you know. Light just automatically switched on the background. But yeah, fucking hell, train of thought. It should have been someone to go opposite to Homelander. So you got Homelander, Superman, and what we needed was we needed like the Peter Quill, right?
Yes.
We needed someone a little bit more like, I've got all of these superpowers, but actually my personality is so like cool that you wouldn't expect me to have them. And then boom, I'm gonna fuck you up. Like, I'm here, oh yeah, Homelander, oh, it sounds proper tragic. Boom, I take away your powers. Like, it's that kind of subtle evil.
It was too outwardly angry, and I think the anger should have came through passive aggressiveness and like sarcastic remarks. I think that's where the scatty, the quirkiness could have probably come out from the character. We got all of that from Stormfront in the previous season. We needed a replacement to that, because the other thing is as well is that I thought Stormfront did so well in the role in terms of the character being so interesting as well, and it ended in that one season. She was in a couple of episodes of season 3, but obviously then she killed herself, in quotation marks there, because she didn't really. It's more about what can we do to then add to the already extensive personalities that you've got, and that's what we needed, because that's what we gained in season 2, and then we just lost it and we didn't get it back in season 3. Sorry, go on.
No, yeah, because I was just going to say, we'd be like, you've got Billy the Butcher, you've got Homeland, you've got all of these like serious figures, and do you know what? In this series in particular, the person that stood out for me was actually Huey. And that's because he's one of the only male characters in this series that isn't all dark, doom, like gloomy, like, oh, life's miserable. Like, he's teleporting and loving life. He's fine. Like, he's having a whale of a time on Compound V, and actually makes it really fun to watch. Like, his character, like, because it's so different to the others, and I thought Soldier Boy could have like brought in a bit of that. It's almost like you wanted someone who is so doesn't look the part, so like almost like Nick Frost, like someone so doesn't fit the bill, but is actually so like shit hot at what they do. I mean, because imagine that against Homelander. Homelander will be like, "Oh, you've just presented me, inverted commas, a big man. Like, what are they gonna do? Look at me. I'm all like toned up. I'm all like tough. Ooh, And then he gets like face to face with like a Nick Frost type character. It would be brilliant. It would be great form of being like, I'm gonna fuck you up, actually, mate.
Do you feel like are you excited to see more of Soldier Boy going into season 4?
I don't know. I'm not sure, to be honest. I feel
what do you
like
think he's going to do next?
I don't know. So I don't know. What is he going to do next? I think
that's a fair point. Because I'm exactly the same, mate. I don't actually I'm not like, oh my god, what's going to happen next? Blah, blah, blah. It's kind of like, okay, there is literally no other story for him to currently tell. There is nothing been added. There's nothing been left in a cliffhanger. The revelation and the reveal of the fact that he is the biological father of Homelander. Okay, then they had all that kind of bit at the end, and then there was no resolution around it. So what do? Do we just kind of see more of the same?
And at the end, like the very last scene, or one of the very last scenes where we get Homelander and Ryan. Yeah. In front of the public, it almost feels to me, Matt, that they've kind of gone, right, we've done that arc, and now we're going to move on. It doesn't really like there's other things that happen in that last episode that you're like, okay, that's what I want to follow. Yeah. Rather than that, so I'm interested. I feel like they bought. It almost feels like he was a big character in the comics. We brought him in. You've had a bit of him. Now we want to go our own way. But I haven't read the comics, so I'm fabricating that potentially. But that's almost what it feels like.
Yeah. So if we were to move on, because this is the thing. Characters, there's so many of them, and I was aware in the last episode we spent a long time talking about Homelander. We spoke a little bit about Starlight and obviously Butcher. Obviously their characters and their stories develop, but I think it's worth just kind of like touching on a few characters, particularly that do kind of develop as well in it. Quickly touching on it, and how do you kind of feel about Huey now? We've seen a little bit more in his development, taking the Temp V as well.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like I say, I thought, and I hope they do more of his when he takes Temp V and he's in like teleporting. Like I hope we get more of that, because actually I thought that was really cool, and I quite like that Huey's kind of gone, well, no, actually he's going to find his own path now, right? So he's kind of told Starlight, like, this is me. This is the person you're with now, and like this, I'm going to take my own direction, and whether you like it or not. I feel like him and Billy had a good arc this series, and I'm really intrigued how Billy going back to his past, like involuntarily, and seeing his father and his brother. Which I thought, like, how incredible was that, by the way? That was done in a really good way.
That was done really well in terms of that, the way that was kind of told through the eyes of being under that kind of spell, that kind of dreamlike thing that it was in.
Do you think that Huey and that's the end of Huey and Starlight?
No. I think that relationship will go. It's not exactly like the Pam and Jim of The Office. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not exactly that. Yeah. But it is certainly going to be something I think will develop. I'll be interested to see if Starlight either, I don't know, maybe it's a bit too cliche that she kind of goes into a relationship with somebody else, or Huey finds somebody else and then there's something else that kind of plays around it. I don't know if that's necessary with a show like this, but something needs to happen between those two.
I've got a controversial theory.
Go for it.
So this is The Boys. This is a series that, arguably is a program about not going like the conventional route. Also, which, by the way, is one of my gripes, is about Maeve being alive at the end. Really annoyed me. Because this program started to get into territory of, we're going to kill any character. But now we're not, because we're going to show that they die. Same with Soldier Boy. Soldier Boy and Maeve look like they did. No, both of them are alive. All of the people you thought could have died have just stayed alive. We're back to episode 1. No one died. Yeah. So that annoyed me. But do you know how they could solve that? What if, so Maeve, still alive, now fully on board with the boys' mission, fully on board with how Starlight felt in series 1/2.
Yep.
What if they kill off Starlight? Because why would they kill off Starlight? It gives Huey an arc So we've started to get Huey kind of delving into Temp V. He's starting to realise, actually, if I become one of the boys, maybe we can defeat and do something. So number one, it would give Huey a bit of an Avengers slash, turning into Billy the Butcher, because he's avenging his partner in a slightly different way, but still. And also, how cool would it be to have her keep Maeve alive, only for Maeve to lose the one person that she, like, as a female, sees herself in?
Oh my gosh.
There'd be a lot of layers if they killed off. It'd be very brave, and there'd be a lot of layers if they killed off Starlight.
Do you think they'll do that?
I think, bearing in mind the end of Series 3 ended how it began, and no one died, I think in my mind, they're going to have to be quite brave and kill off one of the boys in this series. Someone's got to die, and if they do what I worry about, the easy route would be to get rid of either Kimiko or Frenchie. The more complex route and the more fun route to watch as a viewer would be if they get rid of Starlight, Huey, or Maeve. But even Maeve's a bit boring now, because Maeve's died about 3 times and never actually died. So I think Maeve's going to survive, quite frankly. But I'd be really interested in getting rid of Starlight or whoever else I just mentioned.
I think Butcher's going to die.
Yeah, I do.
I do. I think Butcher's, because Butcher's on this arc, and again, I think if we're going to the comics, I think Butcher does die in the comics by the hands of Huey. Actually, I think. I don't think it's going to do that. I don't think it's going towards that, because what I can see currently, what I'm hoping from Butcher is in season 4, Butcher is going to go into more of a story arc about protecting Huey, because through the loss of his brother, he sees a second chance with Huey. He sees a potential younger brother in Huey, and he wants to protect him and make sure he doesn't end up with the loss that he had previously. I think that's going to backfire, and I think he's going to be killed in result of that.
How better? But why would Butcher look after Huey? Get rid of Starlight. Huey's got a reason to be super aggressive, super angry. Then you pit Billy and Huey against each other, because then Huey just says to Billy, I spent, the equivalent of 2 seasons looking after you because I was trying to sort you out because you were trying to avenge Becca, and now you're telling me not to avenge Starlight because you want me to be all right. Then that would create the tension between Huey and Butcher, and Huey could absolutely kill.
So you're saying Butcher kills Starlight?
No. Starlight dies. But from the hands of the 7, so it could be the Deep, could be A-Train, any one of them, get rid of Starlight. That then pits Huey against the 7. Butcher says, no, I've had this epiphany, we've got to stop, but we're never going to defeat the 7. That then pits Huey and Butcher against each other, and then you get your ending, because that's when Butcher, last episode of the series, holy shit, is he about to kill Butcher? Series 5, he doesn't kill Butcher.
Fuck, that's brilliant. Well done, mate.
Job done.
Brilliant. Season 4. K-Dog, not K-Dog, whoever you are. Seth Rogen. Oh, that came out. That felt wrong. K-Dog, you got nothing to do with this. You're old news, K-Dog. You're washed up, Kevin Feige. You're washed up. You're a has-been. Put the tail in there, K-Dog. You're no longer relevant. Sorry.
I can tell you've been around actors all week, mate. Someone's been having fun in the rehearsal room.
I'm exhausted of all the fun I'm having. It's interesting. I think that's such a really good take. It's a really good theory. Would you like to know a little Easter egg from season 3?
Hit me up.
Okay. So, when Huey goes into the orphanage, we see a little teleporting child that's darting around the orphanage. I think it's in the earlier episodes, episode 2, I think, of season 3. Do you know who that boy is who's darting around and teleporting in the orphanage?
I'm just going to say, isn't this series 2, mate? Because
nope,
this is
season 3.
No, yeah. Oh. Are you sure it's not season 2? Because isn't that the whole introduction that we get to Victoria Newman? Isn't this how we literally meet?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure. 3. I thought we talked about this. Oh, no. You were right. Episode 2, The Only Man in the Sky, Series 3. Huey visits Red River, an orphanage for superpowered children. You're right. I'm wrong. I shut up. Carry on with your Easter egg. I don't know who I don't know who's darting around.
Okay, so, as we know, I'll rephrase it all. Forrest, just so I can clip this for the reel. Let's start again. Forrest, would you like to know an Easter egg?
Sorry, say that bit again because I cut over.
Okay, take 3. And ready, dear listener? You ready? Yep. Okay, here we go. Forrest, would you like to know an Easter egg?
Hell yeah, Matt.
Okay, let me tell you. Did you know, in the early episodes of Season 3, that we go to the orphanage where Huey is, and we meet a certain child that's teleporting around the orphanage. Now, did you know also that we have moved on in time a little bit since the previous season by about a year? Are you aware of that?
Oh, I was not aware of that, but I do remember the orphanage episode from Series 3.
Very good. And if we're going to hark back from the ending of season 1, when Madeline Stillwell is blown up at the house, and you are rather concerned there, dear Forrest, about a certain baby Stillwell that was inside that house. Now, the teacher at season 3 goes to the little teleporting child and says, "Hey, Teddy," as in Teddy Stillwell, which was very much named, who is not dead. So the baby, basically, the baby that was in season 1, Madeline's child, is alive and in an orphanage as Teddy Stillwell. So he's not dead.
He's alive.
He's
little
alive.
Teddy. Little Teddy's alive.
A little alleviation for all of the worried viewers about that baby Stillwell. We get a little bit more Frenchie. That's what I love.
We do
in this season, and I think particularly episode 7, we get a little bit more. I say a little bit more. The whole season is very much centered around Frenchie meeting Nina as well, one of his predecessors in terms of work. And we kind of learn a little bit more about what he did in the past in terms of his work, and his family relationship was really complicated as well. But like we see growth in Kimiko's relationship as well. So she becomes human at a point and nurses through her heels.
We get a singing.
She get a singing, yes.
We get a singing Kimiko, which is just my favourite scene ever.
I really liked it.
A whole musical number, and I was like, this is gorgeous. And then a little dance between the two. I loved it. I actually got quite a soft spot for Kimiko's character. I think that's a great character, really good character.
One of my favourite moments in season 3 is in episode 8, where Kimiko and Frenchie are having a conversation with Kimiko. Is the person now at a point going like, look, we've got to go, we've got to leave all this, trust me, it's you and me in this together. And there's this wonderful heartwarming moment. It's only really short, so it's like a minute scene, but in between all the chaos of it's episode 8, just a touching moment between two, like they are family, and it's said in the lines that they, I consider you as family, and all of that conversation is through sign language at the time, right? And it's just powerful, and it goes to show flipping out that you can tell such good stories through that as well, which I think actually when we get to Echo, I'm really interested to see what and how that's kind of done. But Kimiko is brilliant in this. Kimiko, Frenchie, both their relationships together, smashing it. They're the Jim and Pam. If we're talking about Jim and Pam relationships, I think they're Jim and Pam. I think what will happen. They're sowing the seeds.
And that's the thing. I'd actually rather we get them two together and we don't
Yeah.
get Huey and
think that's
Starlight.
it.
And I think, kill off Starlight and have Kimiko and Frenchie. Yes, please.
That's what we're about. Oh yeah. Go on. Oh,
No,
no. Talk
no.
about Maeve.
Oh, talk about Maeve. Yeah, let's talk about Maeve.
You said last week you were like, I don't know where Maeve goes from here, and I don't know what's going to happen with her character. It feels like she's a bit of an afterthought. What are your thoughts in terms of her character development this season?
I was completely right, Matt.
Yeah.
And it also
She gets locked away for half a season.
How fucking random was her and Billy's sex scene? Oh, where did that come from?
Yes.
It's like, whoa, no. This is not believable in an instance. Like, them two barely know each other.
Yeah.
And every time they have engaged in conversation, it's been a shithole of a situation every time. So at what point did they suddenly get in cahoots and like all right with each other? And like she's providing him a load of like temporary V.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's very odd. It's a very odd plot. It kind of feels like, well, we had this a lot with Phase 5. Well, Phase 5 so far, Phase 4 a bit of as well of Marvel of the MCU, where it feels like we've had a lot of like cut scenes where we missed out on a couple of scenes that they got rid of early this series, which would have kind of explained a bit more about them too. Whereas instead we were just thrown into a random sex scene. Random Maeve is like more than happy to fucking risk her entire life grabbing temporary V for Billy. And then at the end she dies but doesn't die. And I'm like, right, okay. I just so disappointing because I love the character of Maeve and I think the opportunity is there to do something really great, but for whatever reason, not the case.
Do you think we're getting a bit of a redemption arc in A-Train? With everything that's happening with him and his brother's relationship, with the racist kind of undertones with was it Hawk? What's his name?
Yeah, I can't.
Blue Hawk.
Blue Hawk. Blue Hawk. Blue Hawk. Yeah. After receiving a heart, A-Train is successfully revived after receiving a heart transplant from Blue Hawk. Yeah, fine.
The way Blue Hawk dies, mate. Oh my god! The fact that A-Train just drags him by the foot and just like pelts it to the point his body becomes like transparent like that. Oh my god, no!
Yeah. Oh, Matt's gone back to Herogasm. I agree. It was a strong plot, and actually they did well. I find it really interesting actually, because this is a set of comics that came out a few years ago. I actually don't know how many years ago. I think quite a few years ago. But the comics, but the series, each series is timed perfectly to real world events. So this series is a lot about the whole Black Lives Matter, which would have been exactly what was going on when Series 3 was released, or just after the Black Lives Matter. And I think that, it does a really good job of linking to real life events. And I think some of the scene where that guy just fucking like rips, he's in a community hall. That is Blue Hawk, Blue Hawk, right? He does this apology and then he doesn't really apologise at all, and then he causes like a fucking absolute shitstorm in this community centre, and it's just mad. It's just mad, and it's a really good plot. But again, it's difficult. The program, the Boys has a difficult thing where there are so many characters in this series. There are so many characters overall in the program that it's really hard to be sincere in the sincere moments, because actually it's covered in mayhem, and it's about, I suppose my point would be, did that plot point have its time to actually shine, or did it feel too much like a backburn of something as important as that plot was? I don't know. It's
Yeah, I think it did it. Basically, I think they should have allowed space for that story a little bit more, but they couldn't because there was so much more and different stories that were being told.
something came up. We kind of mentioned this last week, and I think this series has kind of solidified the thought for me. The Walking Dead, which is another series based on a bunch of comic books. Now they, for a couple of their series, not all the time, what they do occasionally is they will do a whole episode about two characters, one character, or they will do a whole plot in one episode.
Yeah.
Right. Now there is a part of me that thinks maybe what The Boys hasn't done and could have done is dedicated 1 or 2 episodes per series to a completely separate, inverted commas, because it's not really separate, plot, so that we get that time to breathe. In the same way The Last of Us have done it with their adaptation of the game, where they focus very much on one thing in an episode, and it doesn't mean those other things can't come, like, be part of it. We might get flickers of like a news ticker in the background which update us to what's going on with the Seven in that episode, but I think that we could have really had a whole episode with Blue Hawk versus A-Train, which would have just given the time for the plot to breathe, would have given some kind of sincerity to it, but would have also allowed us to then go, right, next episode we're going into Herogasm, without it feeling like we're going on the back burner.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, I just agree. I just agree with you. I'm not going to add to it. I'm not going to change anything. That perspective is absolutely correct, mate. I agree. Like, it's the thing. Like, it's one of those things. I think, unfortunately, in this season, that's the thing where really it's quite important to sort of have that representation in anything anyway, but like also when you're telling a story like that, obviously it needs to be done with delicacy and appropriateness and stuff and seriousness as well. And it had an opportunity to go a little bit deep into it. Maybe we will get more in season 4. Maybe they're just kind of lightly introducing it here, and then they'll kind of go a little bit deeper into it. I'd be interested to see a big hero redemption arc, because we haven't got that yet. In any of the 7, they're all just being complete shitheads, and unfortunately, some of them either die or just wait to be taken over by Homelander, or just get kicked to the curb. So it'd be nice to see A-Train turn to the other side.
Yeah, and similarly with what I've just said, because I imagine some people might think, what I don't mean is that all of the plot needs to be like just in that episode. No. I'm not saying we just put it all in that so that we can have the rest of the show. That's not my argument. My argument is begin to embed it in other episodes, but actually it deserves an episode on its own as well. And it was the same with the Deep in series 2, when we had that whole mental health and coming back from what he'd just done with Starlight and all that needed an episode, because actually there was so much material that was lost there that we could have had a whole episode about this whole, like, him going in with that religious kind of cult. There's just so much to unpack there, but yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Season 3.
That's it. In a
No,
bow.
I mean, we haven't spoken about the ending, okay? Because obviously we've got to, because it's going to lead into season 4. So with the ending, we get the climax. With obviously we have the fight. We have the big fight. Oh, stop it!
Yeah.
We have a fight at the end with Homelander learning obviously about Soldier Boy being and his dad, trying to turn him to the other side. We get Ryan now in the mix, where he says, "Look, this is your grandson. You got 3 generations here, dear Papa. Come join the family." And Soldier Boy goes, "Look, if I had the chance to raise you, I wouldn't have raised you to be such a pussy and be a disappointment." And all that kind of stuff was actually rhetoric that was said to him when he was a kid. Because when he got super soldier serumed, and his dad was like, "Why don't you do that? That was a shortcut. You're a disappointment." And so he kind of just like threw that back at his own son immediately. Which then Butcher, seeing Ryan being under threat as well, had to turn to side with Homelander momentarily. And I think, again, kind of shows a little bit about Butcher's allegiance. He still is being true to Becca. But the way he says Becca, it just does irk me a little bit. Becca. It's not even a Becca.
Becca and Ryan. Becca and Ryan. Ryan.
Oh, I want me Becca. Oh, I've got to say me Becca.
Who's died? Becca.
This blooming blighter Ryan killed me Becca. Oh, this bloody kid, this Ryan killed my Becca. Oh, my Becca. Fucking hell. Oh my god. Anyway, it's funny.
And then Maeve comes in as a big Barney.
As she does.
She loses an eye.
Loses an eye.
But she's gained it back at the end, I believe. I'm pretty sure
Is
she had 2 eyes at the
No,
back.
I think she has a patch on, mate, I think.
Okay, she has a patch on.
patch on.
Thank God for that. And then Maeve jumps out the window with Soldier Boy. Soldier Boy goes kaboom. Then we get a sequence of different small scenes because we've got so many characters. We have to go like,
right?
Fucking hell, man! It's like
Did they not
never
know
ending.
season 4 was happening? Because it felt like they were really trying to tie some things up in about 15 minutes.
Just in case, yeah. So we get first one is where we find out that Victoria Newman, who has kind of been in the background, we find out she is campaigning to be Presidente.
She is. We haven't spoken about her, so obviously her character develops quite a bit. Obviously, she turns in Stan Edgar, her own surrogate father, let's say, literally to protect her own daughter. She injects her own daughter with V as well, to protect herself, and uses it as a ploy to go, you need this to protect yourself. And the excruciating pain that